start with this, or we're gonna go a wider one? Huh?
Great, thank you.
I think 25 might be better. Can we see 25?
more?
Huh?
Yeah,
What do you think?
On the lens.
Yeah.
On the camera.
25?
25 on the camera.
Yeah, and, it's gonna be a little more
Put a
dramatic.
sticker on the
25 on the camera, please.
You know what we should do, Igor? Then if you were to go down to the hammer at the end, I've got a cut point.
Lower than that?
Yeah, first is, this is good actually for one, and then go all the way down, please.
Okay.
Down.
George, a bit of blood on his mouth and a bite. And a bit
Blood on mouth.
yeah, and a bit of splatter in the face.
It's always bitter there, you know.
Come on!
Thanks, ladies. Well done. Happy with how Sean looks, James?
I'm very happy with how Sean looks.
Do you need anything, Ludo?
I'm on the hammer now. Don't forget when you got that. Going up, Sean. Put the hammer down, Sean, if you feel like it. And that is a cut. Amazing.
Cut there.
Cut there.
A little marvellous. Check that thing.
Chicken that. Ew.
This film, or this project, first came to my attention about 2 years ago. And Shane Meadows told me about the script that he'd read from the book and thought it was brilliant, so he sent it over to me to have a look at, and I thought it was one of the best scripts I'd ever read.
It wasn't about selling myself, it was about, if we're adapting these books, if we love these books so much, if we're so sure of what David has done, then let's stick with them. Let's always go back to the books first. And I often would trust the books even if it didn't quite make sense, you know, or even if I couldn't quite see the sense in something that was happening or how our character was behaving. And very, very often I would then discover why it was a good idea. These books are written very much as first-person narratives, very much from within the heads of these people, and David Peace has made a supreme creative act by submerging himself into the minds of these people, and I just try and do the same thing.
One thing that really appealed to me about 1980 was the factual elements within it. And you know, the background to the whole story is the Yorkshire Ripper case, the culmination of that case, which has been going on for 5 years. And so David Peace and then Tony, as a screenwriter, have weaved into the fictional tale a lot of really factual elements. You know, the Yorkshire Rippers, there was a murder in Preston that was ascribed to him that wasn't him. And that's the sort of starting point for the plot of 1980.
There's a saying that gets used in the script, which I think is an old John Donne. It's either John Donne or Shakespeare says that evil triumphs when good men do nothing. And I think that's really David's, the moral drive of his story, is that he's not saying that all these things necessarily happen, but he says if we're not careful, they can happen.
Right, do we need to lose any trucks down that left-hand side?
No, okay, so this is the critical part. He has to walk in. And John. A little slower, John. And Paddy. If you can, do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, like
if you can't, do it.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, if it's like 3 people in the camera, you have the
God,
camera, you
mate.
have everything.
Yeah, it's all
you have
right. And you
material.
can get so much done.
Great.
Tus trailers, visita mi canal.
Yeah, no, that was just really action!
Go then.
That's one. Cheers, folks. Marvelous.
Our story is about a character who is on a journey to find the truth. He doesn't. He thinks that he can find it, and he thinks that that he's in control, but he's not. And basically, the photography, the idea of photography is to convey that feeling of entrapment, that he's basically closed off in a cage.
Igor and I have talked a lot about how we create power relations with widescreen and how you can put a character here and a character there and a character there. And by that very design, you create a power relationship between the two of them and three of them or four of them.
In terms of their shooting style, kind of always, I mean, a lot of it was his point of view, a lot of it was quite tight, and also a lot of it was kind of looking, sort of voyeuristic, looking through things. So we were always kind of trying to put pillars and kind of screens and glass that you're looking through, and it gives you that kind of the slight, that sort of layers have been spied on, I suppose.
There's a wee patch here that doesn't seem to be any, but just tell me if it's okay.
There's some stinging notes. I'm just going to write them down. When he gets to where he is there, bang. Okay.
What number are you getting?
Yeah,
You sat in there, Chris?
you want to do a lens thing now?
No, really done.
Yeah.
In frame.
And action.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And action.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Try not to move in. Wherever you want to put them, I don't care. It's now or ever.
Where that lady is
Never.
there is good. Bring him in there.
Action, Paddy.
Run towards the pony. Run towards the pony. Run right back. It's too late. Too late.
Too late?
I've lived in New York for the last 15 years. I've been away for 15 years. So to come back and to, you know, it's a very different acting culture here, and one that I much prefer. It's people are very focused on the work. People, you know, the actors we've worked with, they've all been absolutely fantastic. But it's not like life or death. You know, with some American actors I work with, it's just like everything gets a bit too serious all the time, and it's this sort of, it's like you're going to church every day to kind of worship, and it's not been like that here. It's been much more fun to make this film.
Visita mi canal.
And yet I think the results are actually much better. And Paddy was just such a great choice for the role, because he's got, you know, first he's a lovely man as a human being, but that's not the point. But he brings some of that quality to the character, I think, too, this sort of kindness, this gentleness. And yet it's not a gentleness that's sort of vulnerable anyway. It's hard and firm and tough.
I liked his the contradictions in him, the fact that he was a kind of very straight man, a very honest man, but also within every man is that desire to sort of kind of slip. And I think for him, it's not the glory of trying to catch this guy, it's just the idea of stopping anyone else being hurt, you know, and more lives being destroyed. I think he sympathises with these women, and he wants it to stop. He doesn't like suffering. When he's with Elizabeth Hall, it's the same thing, the suffering in her, you know, he can't bear that, and he can't bear the way that these corrupt bastards, you know, damage so many lives.
I was speaking to someone who knew him, who said, you know, I happily, he was a crane driver, and Peter was delivering stuff in a lorry to him, and he happily asked Peter to stay over a couple of nights because he was a nice guy, and he said, you know, I have to provoke him to talk, to get stuff out of him. And I know from Trevor Birdsall's account of him, who was one of his very dear friends, that they would sit in the pub often for hours without saying anything. So from that I get the impression the man's in his head, doesn't speak a great deal. And for this particular moment for Peter, I felt that it's almost like this inner monologue finally gets its chance to breathe. So that's why he just keeps talking. It's like he's writing a diary, exorcising everything that's inside of him, and really wants to tell somebody, to get it all out.
And okay, you want that? Okay, I think I'll arrest you.
Arrest me? Yeah. There won't be jail days.
I can get it.
Why was she killed?
Why was she killed? Is it Paul something to do with that?
I just want them to stop.
Then help me.
They'll kill me!
I'll fucking kill you!
You came, and you went, and no one else asked questions. John Dawson, policemen, Bob Craven, and Tommy Douglas. No eyes, no questions. They got Claire. And next.
No.
Fuck off! You're hurting me. Will you talk to someone else?
There isn't anybody else. They're all dead.
And let's leave you there, Paddy.
Yeah.
Let's leave you there with all that.
It just feels like,
You've got
and he's you know, I've got to try and, I've been fucked around so much, you know, and it's like, tell me, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be very good. I think
Yeah.
we'll respect all those physical actions.
Yeah.
I mean, they will happen in a moment, but I think it has to be this way.
Yeah, it does.
But you were able to go with that and
Yeah, it was
respond
grand.
accordingly. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's the pattern for it. That's going to be really strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that okay?
That's perfect. No idea.
You won't,
I've got 4 layers on you.
you won't get it, you won't what's it, man, I won't fuck around, it'll just move you back.
It's more the sound of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
the sound
did have a
environment,
big
which is
twang
good.
on it, yeah.
It's going to be great.
But I feel it needs that.
I fucking like, but it needs that energy now, doesn't it? It needs
Just that outside the thing,
Yeah.
getting me.
That's the moment.
Yeah.
That's the moment for sure.
Do you feel that it needs that moment? Because doing it then, I didn't miss getting a photograph and going, getting here, oh, look at that.
I think he knows all about that, doesn't
Yeah.
he? I mean, it's what I think it does. What we need is for you to see this in the hotel room
Yeah.
before you go. And I feel if we're on it there, I don't feel that it needs to be thrust in. I think it's kind of in the way of it. Don't you?
Yeah, it feels if I get now and get photos out,
No,
that feels like a
know.
detective.
No.
Exposure knows where we are.
Hello, I'm okay at the moment. Sure.
We don't even have enough exposure, guys.
aquí tus trailers, visita mi canal.
I was just so tired of fucking running. What do you think?
Find the killer! Was it something to do with the porn? Was that nothing to do with the porn?
It's coming back.
Frame.
Stand by and action.
Tell me! You weren't one of the rippers. Why was she being killed? Was it the porn? Was it something to do with that?
It wasn't because of the fucking porn. It was because of what she saw.
Here's my bra.
Fuck it up.
Dressed only in a vest and a waistband made from ladies' bras. The male, the alpha male, tends to court the female wardrobe lady, using only his prowess.
Women love this shit on men. Like you were putting a bomb together.
Do you think you'd be my choice?
You're not life, yeah.
Let's just tuck this in properly. Have you got another safety pin? So it doesn't slip down.
I just like that idea of us making films that are not sort of, you know, slightly with completely unbelievable gangster movies or soppy romantic comedies that have a view of England that mean nothing to me, but really films that are about England, about growing up in Britain, that have got a real resonance and a real edge and a real bite and are filmic, you know. So if it could do all those things, I would be more than happy.
The way it's turned out, I think, is actually a very naturalistic film. It wasn't. The starting point was actually very delirious. Tony's script was really quite kind of weird, and I took some of that out, for better or for worse, and the film has turned out to be something that's like almost like a classic film noir, dare I say it. Not that the film is a classic or a film noir, but that's certainly, in my dreams, that's what it is.
I think what I hope that, you know, that frisson, that total involvement that one has from the experience of reading those books by David is somehow echoed with these films, that they are an equally intense and rich experience. And unsettling. No, then it's not The Archers.
It'll come with time, baby. It'll come with time.
Good shot. Good uppercut. Again. On the dot.
That's it, Sean. That's a good shot, baby. It'll come with time, baby. Just take time. That's all.
Whoa.